Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a truly fascinating lecture that lays out a pretty radical paradigm shift for South Korea's future. The source basically argues that the nation is standing at this massive, unavoidable crossroads. It's demanding a total departure from national self-interest in favor of something way bigger, global service. So let's unpack exactly how this lecture connects some really deep local societal issues to a massive worldwide vision.
Okay, here's a quick roadmap of what we're covering. We'll look at Korea's approaching inflection point, its mission for international society, this concept of social parents and zero suicide, then we'll redefine true welfare and wrap it all up with the Great Hongik Project.
All right, starting right off with Section 1, Korea's approaching inflection point.
So the foundational claim here is that South Korea has hit a wall. It's reached a critical moment where the old way of operating, where nations form these self-serving cartels and basically treat anyone outside their borders as an enemy, is just completely obsolete. The lecture points out that South Korea grew incredibly fast thanks to the energy and support of the global community. Because of that, this new way demands the country stop living just for itself. Instead, it has to live for humanity. And by doing so, the source claims the nation will unlock this immense wisdom to actually accomplish its goals.
Moving right along to Section 2, Mission for International Society.
Now you might be wondering, how does a nation actually serve the world in practice? Well, the speaker is absolutely uncompromising about this transition. Literally everything South Korea produces must now be explicitly designed for international peace. We're talking about corporate culture completely prioritizing global benefit over sheer profit. Religious practices need to serve the wider international community. And, perhaps most strikingly, even weapons manufacturing has to undergo this massive shift. They must be created strictly defensively to maintain global order, absolutely not for profit or killing. It's all about selfless global service.
Which brings us to Section 3, Social Parents and Zero Suicide.
You can't exactly lead the world in peace if your own house is deeply suffering. And the lecture brings up this incredibly harsh national reality. Despite being this absolute powerhouse of tech and culture with miraculous economic growth, South Korea has tragically held the #1 spot globally for suicide rates for over a decade. The speaker identifies this as the ultimate domestic failure. It's an absolute prerequisite crisis that literally must be solved before the country can even think about leading internationally.
So how do they fix it? To combat this, the speaker outlines a grassroots movement they call the Social Parents Club. And what's interesting is it doesn't start with politicians making laws. Step 1 is everyday citizens gathering to study and get their mindsets aligned. From there, social and economic leaders step up to establish a formal foundation, which ultimately declares a national zero suicide project. And finally, the citizens themselves step in as social parents, meaning they actually view the pain and struggles of their neighbors as if it were their own family's pain. It's a total societal shift.
Let's look at Section 4, Redefining True Welfare. So how do these social parents actually help? Well, the lecture argues that just throwing money at the problem simply isn't enough. It completely redefines what a welfare recipient is in our modern context. It's not just someone lacking food or shelter. According to this framework, it's anyone who is painfully struggling through daily life because they lack purpose and just feel totally lost. So even someone who is materially wealthy but spiritually empty is, in the eyes of this lecture, deeply in need of a new kind of social welfare.
And that leads the speaker to pose this really profound, incredibly empathetic question: why is almost every single citizen currently feeling pain? I mean, if you look around, there is hardly anyone who isn't finding modern life incredibly difficult right now, right?
The answer provided by the source is simple, but honestly, it carries a lot of weight, because we don't know how to live rightly. The suggestion here is that the root of all this massive societal pain is a fundamental lack of direction. So the role of the social parents isn't just about handing out physical aid, it's about studying and providing true life guidance to a population that has essentially completely lost its way.
And finally, we arrive at Section 5, the Great Hongik Project.
This is where all that local internal healing scales way up to a massive global ambition. The lecturer resurrects this traditional Korean concept called Hongik Ingon, which roughly translates to devotion to the welfare of humanity. Now, the speaker makes it very clear this isn't some archaic term or a cultish phrase. Instead, it's a powerful, modernized mandate.
The idea is that by solving its own deep internal crises, the nation basically becomes the engine for this great Hongik project, uniting people to build a society that benefits absolutely everyone on the globe.
The whole philosophy rests on what the source calls an unbreakable natural law. You simply cannot achieve lasting peace within your own borders unless your nation is actively leading the charge for human peace globally. It's like the universe just isn't designed to let one single country sit there perfectly happy while the rest of humanity suffers. Peace is intrinsically linked. To save yourselves, you have to commit to saving the world.
So, I want to leave you with this really vital question drawn straight from the source material. If true national salvation and peace really do lie in serving the wider world, how will you participate in this transformation? Would you become a social parent? Would you change how your business operates to actually serve humanity? It challenges all of us to stop living just for ourselves. Thanks so much for exploring these fascinating concepts with me today. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.